Good morning, students. In the series of lectures in the subject VLSI design, today we are starting with unit number 2. This is the lecture 1, unit 2. Okay, so this is your delay introduction, and along with this, we will do transient response for. So now, let us start with this. So there are some small calculations here. So what is basically the rise time? Okay, so rise time is basically the time uh, in which the output rises from its 20% value to 80% value. This is the rise time. And what is fall time? Fall time is basically the output falls from 80% value to 20% value. Remember that these are the steady state values. Okay? So we define another term that is called age rate. So age rate is nothing but the average of rise time and fall time. Okay? So these three terms we have defined. Another delay time is known as propagation delay time. So propagation delay time we can calculate in two ways. Okay, so there are two calculations of propagation delay time, that is TPDF and TPDR. So TPDF is nothing but when the output is falling. Okay, it is calculated when the output is falling, and when TPDF TPDR is calculated, it is calculated when output is rising. Okay, now how it is calculated? So just to mark 2 points. Okay, so mark 2 points when input crosses the 50% steady state value. So this is the point, and mark another 2 points when output is crossing 50% value. So it is this point. So the time between this and this is called as propagation delay, called PPD. And how PPDR is calculated? PPDR is calculated when input is at 50% falling. Okay, and output is rising, crossing the 50%. Okay, so this is how we calculate. So next is contamination delay time. It is denoted by TCD. It is the minimum time from input crossing 50% to output crossing 50%. So there is a slight difference between propagation delay time and contamination delay time. So what is that difference? Difference is nothing but propagation delay time is the maximum time from input crossing 50% to output crossing 50%, whereas contamination delay time is the minimum time from input crossing 50% to output crossing 50%. Okay. Now, how we calculate the transient response. Okay, so in this lecture, we will discuss the transient response with CMOS inverter. Okay, so the most basic way to calculate the transient response is to first draw the circuit. Okay, then write differential equations which will describe the relation between output and input voltages along with time. Okay, and solve that differential equation. The solution of the differential equation is nothing but the transient response. Okay, and delay is the time when output reaches VDD by 2. Obviously, the 50% steady state value. Okay. Now, these differential equations are based upon charging or discharging of the capacitors in the circuit. So we also need to consider the capacitors in the circuit that are involved. Okay, in order to take the transient response. Okay. So in case of capacitor, we already know this equation, I equals to C dV upon dt. We will further evaluate this. Now let us consider this circuit. So this circuit basically has a CMOS inverter X1 that is driving another CMOS inverter X2. Okay. Now let us assume that a step input is applied at the input of inverter X1. Okay. So now this value is, let's say, 0, and this is your VDD. Like this we have applied. Okay. Now, as input is applied here like this, so output of this CMOS inverter will be like this. Okay, so it will be the output of inverter. Okay, so for this circuit, we need to calculate the propagation delay. So for calculation of propagation delay, we need to consider the capacitances. So what are the capacitances that are involved here? So these are the capacitances that are involved here. So for the starting from the very simple one, let's say this is wire. Let's say the capacitance of wire is C wire. So this is the wire capacitance. There are some diffusion capacitances also involved, and diffusion capacitances basically works. This is your source terminal, okay? So between source and body terminal, there is one diffusion capacitance, okay, that is connected to the supply. For the NMOS, there is also diffusion capacitance between the source and the body terminal, that is denoted by VSBN1, which is VSBP1, okay? And there are two more diffusion capacitances that works. This is the drain terminal between drain and body, and between drain and body of PMOS and NMOS. So these are the four diffusion capacitances that we are considered. Okay. So in case of this load, this is nothing but load. This is driver. This is load. Okay. So for this is load inverter, there are two capacitances that we will consider. Okay. So this is nothing but the gate source resistance, this gate source capacitance and gate source capacitance in case of PMOS and NMOS. This is nothing but your gate, and this is nothing but your gate. Okay. Uh, Gate source capacitance between gate and source terminal. This, okay, and between gate and source terminal. This. Okay. All the capacitances involved here that we discussed in this CMOS that will actually do not take part in this section because CMOS inverter is basically driving this another CMOS inverter, and these capacitances will not take part. Okay. Now, in these, also in these capacitors, also in these capacitors, these two capacitors does not take part in switching process. Okay. Why? Because as you can see that these capacitances are connected to supply voltage. Okay, so these will not take part in switching process. So only the left capacitances are these two and these three capacitances. So the sum of these five capacitances we can assume at CM. So C out is nothing but the sum of these five capacitances. So this circuit is basically reduced to this like this. Okay. Now, if the input at this is 0, then this NMOS is off, this is on, so this is on. So what will be the value of VB? This will be equal to VDD. Okay. Now as A turns on in this portion, when high voltage is applied here, this NMOS is on. Okay. And this PMOS is off. So in that case, this capacitor will start to discharge, okay, through this NMOS. So what is the equation that will govern this? So this is the drain terminal of NMOS. This is the source terminal of NMOS. And what is that equation that is flowing, the current equation that is flowing here, that is your ID, drain to source for N1, IDS N1, okay. So now this current is flowing like this in this capacitor. So what is the voltage here? Here the voltage is VB. So what is the relation that will govern it? This relation will be like this. C out dVB upon dt equal to minus IB. Okay. Now, depending upon the region of operation in which this NMOS is working, we can simply put the value of current in here and we will get the output voltage. Okay. So by solving this equation, we can easily have the transient response. Okay. That's what we discussed in last slides. Now, how you will tell that the NMOS is working in BG? Okay, so for that case, okay, now when A was actually high, A is high here. When A is high, that is VDD. So the value of VG, gate voltage, will nothing but equal to VDD. Now Vs is already 0. So what is the value of VGS? VGS is nothing but VDD. Okay. So the value of VGS is VDD in this case. So the value of VGS is VDD. Okay. And what about the value of VDS? VDS is nothing but voltage between drain and source. Source is already at zero potential. So VDS is nothing but equal to VD, and VD is nothing but equal to VB. Okay. So when your A is high, so what is the value of VB in that case? Okay. So it will just start to fall from that value. Okay. That was initially VDD. Will start to fall, and then the base. So VDS is equal to nothing but VB. VDS is equal to nothing but VB. Okay. Now, in order to find whether a NMOS is working in saturation or triode region, so we just calculate on one side VDS, on other side we calculate VGS minus VTH. Okay. So in that case, what is VDS? So VDS is nothing but equal to VB. What is VGS here? VGS is nothing but equal to VDD minus VT. Okay. Now, as VB was just equal to VDD, okay. So this is the case I am discussing that the input A was VDD just applied here. Okay, so output will start to fall from VDD. Okay, so at that instant the value of VB will be equal to VDD. Okay, so in that case VDD will obviously greater than VDD minus VT. Okay, so in this case VDS is greater than VGS minus VT. So NMOS is working in saturation. So for the case of saturation region, initially, okay, for the case of saturation region, I will tell, I will just replace the value of IDS1 with the saturation equation. So what is the saturation equation? That is equal to half mu n COX, mu n COX W upon L, VGS, VGS is nothing but equal to VDD minus VT whole square. Okay. So as you can see, these all terms are constant. Okay. So I can replace it by minus k, some constant k. So if I solve this equation, what will I get? I will get VB, a linearly declined graph. Okay. So when input was like this, when input was low, I was obviously getting output VDD. When input reaches VDD, output starts to fall, and how it is falling? Output is falling linearly. So this equation, this is a linear equation, okay? So by solving this equation, I am getting this response. Okay. Now, this process will not continue up to the infinite time. So as long as your VB is greater than VDD minus VT, N1 will operate in saturation region. When VB fall below VDD minus VT, N1 will enter in linear region. Okay. So for linear region, the equation, drain current equation will be different, and it will be this equation. Okay, so after that I will get a, curve shape declination of the value of v. Okay, so you can see here that first it is declining linearly, and then the value of VB falls below VDD minus VD, it will decline in a curve shape. Okay, so this equation is basically governing this particular section. Okay, and this equation is governing this particular section. Okay, so now when we are applying a ramp input, so these are very basic steps. When the input voltage of a CMOS inverter is less than threshold voltage, so in that case NMOS is obviously off, PMOS is on, so VB is equal to output of CMOS inverter, that will be equal to VDD. As long as VA goes to uh, knows this VTN, but it is less than VDD minus VTP. In that case, both NMOS and PMOS will be on, okay, and this is called the intermediate phase. So in this intermediate phase, both NMOS and PMOS will be on. Now, in this case, VDD minus VTP, when VA is greater than VDD minus VTP but less than VDD, so in that case, your NMOS will be on and PMOS will be off. And when NMOS is on, the capacitor C out will start to discharge, and this is falling towards G. Okay, so these are the three phases that we consider. So this is the transient response of a CMOS inverter when a step input is applied. Okay, so this was all about your response. Okay,